Imagine being invited somewhere not to be honored, not to be respected, but to be laughed at. Not to be a guest, but to be the joke. That's exactly what happened to Anna. She scrubbed office toilets, polished floors, emptied trash cans. Every morning she arrived before the executives, every night she left after the lights went off. People brushed past her without a glance. To most of them, Anna wasn't really a person. She was a uniform, a moving mop. Background. So when the invitation came, it felt unreal. A wedding. The wedding of the powerful CEO and the most arrogant woman Anna had ever met. What Anna didn't know was that the envelope in her hands was not a gift. It was poison. But life has a way of turning poison into medicine when you least expect it. Because on that wedding day, the woman they expected to laugh at walked in like a queen. And what happened next? No one in that place was ready. Before we begin, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from right now? Settle in. This is Kindness Valley, and this story might just change the way you look at people forever. The echo of heels clicked across the shining marble of the CEO's building. The floor was so perfectly clean, it reflected the crystal chandeliers above like a mirror. Luxury cars glided in and out of the private entrance. Inside, men in sharp suits hurried past. Women in designer heels scrolled through emails on phones that cost more than Anna's monthly salary. This was a world of money. A world that liked to show off. And right in the middle of it all, pushed a squeaky cleaning cart. Anna wore faded gloves and a plain uniform. She moved quietly, head slightly bowed, but her back was straight. 42 years old, with hands that told a story of work, sacrifice, and survival. She knew every corner of this building, every scratch on the wall, every coffee stain on the carpet. And she knew something else, too. When people don't notice you, she always told herself, you hear everything. Executives griped about deals in front of her. Employees gossiped while she wiped their tables. They thought she was invisible, but there was one person who never forgot to remind Anna of her place. Clara. Clara was the CEO's fiancée, the future queen of the company. Young, beautiful, rich, and cruel. Her heels were always designer, her makeup flawless, her perfume strong enough to announce her arrival before she spoke. One afternoon, Clara paused near Anna, looking her up and down with a smirk. "Be careful where you mop, Anna," she said lightly. "This floor costs more than your entire life." Anna's jaw tightened. The words stung, but bills didn't care about dignity. Rent didn't care about pride. So she swallowed the insult and kept moving. But on this particular day, something in the air felt different. Anna was polishing a glass door when she saw Clara approaching with a small group of friends. Their laughter floated ahead of them, high, sharp, and mean. Clara held a small cream-colored box and walked like she was hosting a fashion show. Her friends took little sips of champagne in the middle of the workday, their eyes already amused. Anna stepped aside, as she always did. Clara crossed her arms and flashed a fake, dangerous smile. "Haven't seen you much lately, Anna," she said. "Hiding from me?" She tapped the box, then pulled out a thick cream envelope sealed with gold. "Well, lucky you. I have something for you. A little surprise." Anna stared at the envelope. Everything about it screamed wealth, power, importance. "This Saturday," Clara announced, loud enough for people nearby to hear, "Victor and I are getting married at the Grand Magnolia Estate. And guess what?" She leaned in, eyes glittering with poison. "You're invited." Her friends burst into giggles. One of them actually snorted. "Not everyone gets invited to something like this," Clara added, pretending to be generous. For a moment, Anna froze. A janitor, invited to the biggest wedding in town. Then she saw it, behind Clara's smile, in her friend's barely controlled laughter. This wasn't kindness. This was a setup. Clara tilted her head. "Wear anything you like. Just try not to come in that uniform. We don't want the staff mistaking you for one of them." More laughter. "Or maybe she can help clean up after the party," another woman chimed in. Anna's chest burned. Her fingers dug into the envelope so tightly, her knuckles turned white. Her eyes stung, but there was no way she would cry in front of this audience. She took a slow breath, lifted her head just a little, and said two simple words. "Thank you." The calm in her voice surprised even Clara. Anna turned and walked away, the envelope suddenly feeling like a stone in her hand. Up close, the gold letters looked almost cruel. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Clara Collins and Victor Miles. Saturday 5 p.m., Grand Magnolia Estate, black tie. Black tie, expensive gowns, sparkling jewelry, high heels. Things Anna did not own and could not dream of affording. It wasn't an invitation. It was a trap. A public humiliation waiting to happen. That evening, Anna climbed the 3 flights of stairs to her tiny apartment. The elevator had been broken for weeks. Each step felt heavier than the last. She walked in, dropped her faded bag on the worn sofa, and sat at the edge of her narrow bed. Then the tears came. She cried for every time someone had spoken over her, around her, but never to her. For every time she'd been treated like an object instead of a human. Her eyes drifted to an old photo hanging crooked on the wall. A woman in a simple dress, with a proud smile and eyes full of fire. Anna's mother. Her mother's words echoed in her memory. Dignity is not something people give you, Anna. It's something you carry, even when no one else sees it. Anna looked down at the invitation. The gold letters still shone, just like the ache in her chest. If I go, they'll laugh at me. If I don't go, it will feel like I agree with them, like I don't belong anywhere. She stood up slowly and walked to an old cupboard. From the back, she pulled out a small wooden box she hadn't opened in years. Her hands trembled as she lifted the lid. Inside were photographs, but not photographs of a cleaner in a worn uniform. In these pictures, Anna stood tall, glowing in elegant dresses, holding microphones at events, shaking hands with community leaders. There she was cutting a ribbon at a new school. There she was standing behind a banner, Adabio Foundation, Building Futures. Another paper lay folded beneath the photos. A certificate. Anna Adabio, founder and director, Adabio Foundation. She traced her name with her fingertip. For a moment she forgot to breathe. Her father had been a respected businessman, a pillar in their community. He'd created jobs, mentored young men, donated to schools. Her mother had been a beloved teacher, and Anna, she had once been a leader, a woman people listened to, a woman who had helped hundreds of students reach university through her foundation. Until everything crashed. Money stolen in her name, lies, court cases, debts, losing her parents one after another. Her life had shattered, piece by painful piece. She lost the house, the car, the foundation, and eventually, her voice. She became invisible because survival demanded it. Now, holding that certificate, something inside her lifted its head. They think I'm just a janitor, she whispered. They have no idea who I really am. At the bottom of the box lay a crumpled letter with familiar handwriting. Janet, her best friend from the old days. A bold, brilliant fashion designer who had moved to Atlanta years ago. If you ever need me, the letter said in looping ink, call, I mean it. Anna grabbed her phone, heart pounding. Her finger hovered over the old contact. Then she pressed call. The phone rang once, twice. Hello? A woman's voice, tired but sharp. Janet, it's me. Silence, then a gasp. Anna? Anna Adabio? Is this real? It's me, she said, her voice cracking. I need help. I think it's time the world remembers who I am. The next morning, a sleek black SUV pulled up in front of Anna's building. A woman stepped out in a tailored suit and flawless heels. Sunglasses, sharp haircut, powerful energy. Janet. When she saw Anna at the door in her old sweater and worn jeans, her eyes filled instantly. Oh my God, she whispered, then pulled Anna into a tight hug. You could have called years ago, she murmured, but you called now, that's enough. Inside the small apartment, they spread photos and papers on the table like generals planning a war. Tell me, Janet said, flipping open a sketchbook, how do you want them to see you when you walk into that wedding? Anna stared at the wall for a moment, then met her friend's eyes. I want them to see the woman they tried to erase, she said slowly, and failed. A slow smile spread across Janet's face. Good, she muttered, pencil already flying across the page. Then we dress you like a memory they can't escape, and a future they can't stop. When Anna tried to protest about money, Janet cut her off with a glare. "Don't you dare insult me. This isn't charity, this is justice." They spent hours picking fabrics, jewelry from Janet's private collection, discussing hair and makeup. But beneath all of that, something deeper was happening. Anna wasn't just getting ready for a party, she was putting her crown back on. The day of the wedding dawned bright and unreal, the kind of blue sky rich people like to pretend belongs to them. The Grand Magnolia estate rose ahead like a palace. Fountains, marble steps, massive flower arches, rows of luxury cars lined the drive. Guests in glittering gowns and sharp tuxedos drifted across the lawn, posing for photos, sipping champagne under trees decorated with hanging chandeliers. At the center of it all stood Clara. In a sparkling white gown, she soaked up the cameras with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "This wedding is going to be unforgettable," she murmured to a friend. "I still can't believe you invited her," the friend whispered. "You really think she'll come?" Clara laughed coldly. "She's a janitor. She knows her place. Relax. If she does come, it'll be our entertainment for the night." She tossed her hair and turned away. While she was laughing, a black car rolled quietly up the drive. It stopped. The back door opened. First, a foot emerged, wrapped in a sleek black heel, 6 inches high, elegant and steady. Then the rest of her. A black silk gown flowed out of the car like liquid night, catching glints of gold in the late afternoon light. The fabric hugged her figure gently, then released into a soft train behind her. A gold shawl rested across her shoulders like something worn by royalty. Her braids were swept up into a regal style that framed her face and lengthened her neck. A single stone hung at the center of a simple silver necklace. Quiet, powerful. Anna stepped onto the white path, and the world went silent. Waiters paused mid-tray. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even the band fumbled and fell quiet. Clara felt something shift behind her back. She turned, half annoyed. Her jaw dropped. Her perfectly manicured fingers dug into her bouquet so hard a flower snapped. Anna walked forward, slow and measured. Not begging, not apologizing. Every step sounded like a statement. "I know who I am." Guests leaned toward each other. "Who is she? Was she invited? Is she someone famous?" Victor, the CEO, finally pulled his eyes away from his phone. When he saw Anna, his brows knit together in confusion. Beside him, Clara swallowed hard. This was not the broken woman she had tried to turn into a joke. Gathering what was left of her pride, Clara stepped toward Anna with a tight, sugary smile. "Well," she said, her voice a little too loud, "this is unexpected. You really dressed up." A few guests chuckled nervously. Anna's eyes flicked over Clara's gown, the diamonds, the forced smile. Then she smiled, small, calm, and lethal. "Yes," she said softly, "I did." She paused, letting the silence stretch. "Looking at you, I'd say you dressed up too." Another pause, then almost gently, "Shame, all this money, and it still couldn't buy you class." The gasp moved through the crowd like a wave. Clara's face went from pale to scarlet. Her lips trembled. Before she could spit out a response, an older man in a dark suit stepped forward from the crowd. He peered at Anna, squinting, his face slowly shifting from confusion to shock. "Wait," he breathed. "Is that Anna? Anna Adabio?" The world seemed to freeze. Anna turned her head slightly. "Yes," she replied, "I'm Anna Adabio." The man covered his mouth with one hand. "My God," he whispered. "I worked with your father at the Adabio Foundation. You were the face of it. Where have you been all these years?" A buzz spread through the guests. "Adabio Foundation? Is that her? She paid for my cousin's scholarship." Clara's knees nearly buckled. She hadn't tried to humiliate a nobody. She'd tried to turn a woman who had once lifted entire communities into a clown for her amusement. Victor turned to his bride, his jaw tight. "Clara," he said quietly, "what is this?" She stammered. "It was just a joke. I didn't know." "A joke?" His voice was low and dangerous. "You tried to embarrass a woman who has done more for this city than most of us combined." Anna stepped in before the argument could grow. There's no need, she said calmly, her voice carrying without shouting. I didn't come for revenge. I'm not here to ruin anyone's big day. Her gaze slid to Clara, firm, steady, without hate. I came to remind you and everyone here of something simple. Dignity doesn't come from money. It doesn't come from titles. It doesn't come from how many people you can look down on. She scanned the faces around her. Dignity is who you are when you think no one is watching. For a moment, no one moved. Then a single person began to clap. Then another and another, until the entire garden was thundering with applause. Some guests wiped at their eyes. Others bowed their heads, feeling the weight of her words. Clara's face twisted. She dropped her bouquet and pushed through the crowd, fleeing in tears. Anna watched her go, then took a deep breath that sounded like the end of a very long chapter. Guests began to come forward, some from her past, some strangers whose lives had been touched by the Adabio Foundation's work. If you ever bring the foundation back, one businessman said, I want in, I'll help fund it. Me too, a woman added. Your parents changed lives, we won't let their legacy die. Anna's eyes glistened. Maybe, she whispered, more to herself than to them, maybe it is time. When she finally turned to leave, people stepped aside instinctively, creating a clear path. But this time, it wasn't because they thought she didn't belong. It was because they knew they were in the presence of someone who did, someone who always had. Outside the gates, Janet leaned against the black car, arms folded, watching with a knowing smile. So, she asked as Anna approached, did they remember? Anna glanced back at the glittering estate, the flowers, the lights. All the things that had once made her feel small now felt strangely hollow. She inhaled deeply, her shoulders relaxing. They did, she said, but it's not enough. A spark lit in her eyes. This is just the beginning. Janet grinned and squeezed her hand. That's the Anna I know, she said. Let's go build something so big no one will ever dare forget your name again. The car pulled away as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold and orange. In the window's reflection, Anna didn't see a janitor. She saw a woman who had been knocked down, buried, underestimated, but never truly destroyed. A woman whose crown had never really left her. It had just been waiting for her to claim it again. You've been watching Kindness Valley. If stories like this move you, stories that remind us every person carries a hidden story, a hidden crown, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and share this video with someone who needs hope today. More powerful journeys are on the way, and we'd be honored to have you.